drip of blood flowing on my hands. So we just wash it with water. Hello guys, and welcome back again for another outdoor adventure. And there's really nothing much special about today. We are just out here for a short hike. I've been walking for about 2 hour stops now, and I've decided just to stop right here at our old campsite. It's a very secluded campsite. There's not much people coming around here anyways, and maybe we'll just stay here for the rest of the afternoon, hang a hammock, maybe have some coffee, and just wait for the sun to fully set on the horizon. So stick with me. I do not know if you guys have already followed me on my social media page, but I have been posting this knife several weeks ago. So this is a local made knife. This is made by Laagan Adventures. He is based in Camotes Island, Cebu. And this is basically just a regular sundang, but it has the touch of a kukri knife, if you are familiar with the kukri. And we call this knife as bukri. So this is a collaboration build, and I am the one who made the sheath. So this is a leather sheath. It has a ferrocerium rod holder on the outside, and this is how it looks. So this is a very good bushcraft knife in my opinion. Very good for clearing, chopping coconuts, processing firewood, and all around camping knife. So this has a tindalo balayong wood scales or handles, and if you've noticed the pins are actually made of bamboo. So those are traditional bamboo pins, and the knife is also a full tang, a carbon steel knife. And I'm just going to use it to demonstrate to you how to use the ferrocerium rod for starting a fire. So while we are still waiting for the hot chocolate to simmer down, I'm just going to share with you guys a few interesting facts about the trees or plants that are surrounding this campsite. So we are right now inside a man-made forest, which is surrounded by Tectona grandis. So these types of trees. So this is a teak tree. So these are also called Burmatic or Burmese teak. And what is interesting about this plant is that many do not know that these trees have already scattered around our watershed area in Cebu City, and they were introduced here many years or even decades ago. And other than the fact that they are exotic, they are also a type of what we call as invasive tree species. Invasive meaning they have the capacity to take over the land and get rid of the other surrounding native faunas. So it is detrimental to our ecology and to the biodiversity that is within that area. So since it has the capacity to become detrimental to the biodiversity of the area, many native animals do not benefit from this tree. So the biodiversity stops from these trees that are taking over our natural forest. But what is interesting about these trees is that there's only a very little information that has been provided on social media. So I'm just going to share with you guys a few facts that I know about these types of trees or the Tectona grandis. teak trees are actually a superb or a very good type of lumber or timber tree, meaning they are a hardwood type of trees, so a hardwood species of trees. So regardless how long it has been exposed to the environment, it has the smallest shrinkage and expansion of the wood that has ever been recorded among the trees that we have here in the Philippines. So it's very good for furniture making, it's very good for house making, foundations, and making tools, wooden frames, tables, anything that you can think of that requires a sturdy and solid foundation of material. So teak trees are very good for that. Other than the hardwood quality we get from the teak trees also has a fire resistant property, so meaning it can resist fire. I don't know for how long, but we've had many forest fires here, but I've noticed the teak trees, they're not really affected to the forest fire that has been going on. Just a few days or weeks later, you can see these trees already flourishing with a new set of leaves already. So we now know that teak trees are hardwood species and they are fire resistant. They have also been utilized in some countries as part of the culinary recipes. Okay, so these trees, if you're going to take the young shoots or even okay, so even the older leaves, these ones, okay, you can actually extract red dye from it. Okay, so that's red dye. It's been used in some countries as a natural food coloring. So the young shoots or the leaves can be mixed with food as a natural food coloring. So if you want your food to have a color or red color and texture, okay, so apart from that, I have been using teak also as a natural trail markers. So I can just mark here, and just for a few days discoloration is going to disappear. So it's a very good tool for surviving in the wild. Okay, if you don't have any trail markers with you, so you make use of the teak tree leaves. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's very popular in India, so they've been using this as a natural food coloring for their rice pudding. Okay, so see this. And also for the ladies out there, if you forgot to bring your
Damn, and I told him, well, thank you, baby. Anything for my favorite lady.
so you make use of the teak tree leaves. I still do not know if water can easily get rid of this, so hopefully it does, or else I'm going to have a problem. I was planning to rub this on my face just for the thumbnail of this video, but right now I am not pretty sure about that. So luckily the red dye is water soluble, so you just wash it with water and rub it on tree barks, so it can be removed by water, but not all of it. So it was a good decision not rubbing it on my face. So it now literally looks like a drip of blood flowing on my hands. So just hiking a little bit around the area to observe the beautiful sunset. So on this side we are facing the beautiful mountains of Cebu City, and on the other side you can also observe the city and urban area from around here. So a little while ago I was talking with you about the invasive teak trees, and what you see that on the opposing side, that is the Cebu City watershed, and majority of the trees you see on there, correct me if I'm mistaken, so probably around 50 to 60% of the trees being planted there are all teak trees, so Tectona grandis. So it's the same types of trees you see around here. Okay, you plant one tree up here on top of the mountain, a short amount of time, maybe a few years, it's going to scatter around the area, and it's going to damage the biodiversity, and it's going also to destroy the surrounding native plants. The problem with these trees is that there's really no native animals that benefit from it. So other than the people that are gathering for firewood or making charcoal, teak trees actually makes a very good quality of charcoal as well. So I am just hoping that maybe someday the city government is going to do something about it while it is still not too late. Possibly make rehabilitation projects, especially with our watershed area, so at least we can start today and fix our problem with the lack of water, since teak trees are also fast growers. So instead of retaining water, it's actually absorbing more water from the ground compared to the native fig trees and ficus species that we have around. So the sun is almost out now, so it's disappearing in the horizon, and while there's still a little bit of sunlight left, so I'm going to pack things up, and if we still have time, we are going to maybe capture a time-lapse video for the sunset. So other than the red dye that you can obtain from this tree, since it has a velvet texture on its leaves, it's a very good scrubbing and wiping material in the wilderness. and there's plenty of thick leaves around. I am not pretty sure if we can still watch the sunset from up here. It's gone, but there's still a little bit of light left, so we're just going to hike down just a few meters from here, and maybe if we are lucky enough we can still watch the sunset from there.